off the round, first 4 games, obviously, I think the average was close to 40. Penrith 46, Manly 6. Barney, tell us things.
Yeah, okay, so just a note on my stats, because a few times I skip who did what, because I don't like to go Manly did this and Penrith did that, so I go with the home teams first and then the away teams second. So
To teach everyone how to use it.
Fuck off. So Manly 6, Penrith 46, 1 try to 8.
Host your own podcast.
1 out of 1 conversions for Manly and 6 out of 8 for Penrith, and Penrith also kicked the penalty goal. 78% completion, played 85% for Penrith. 29 out of 37 sets, played 34 out of 40 sets. 1 line break to Manly, 9 to Penrith. 23 tackle busts, played 38. 7 offloads, played 15. 140-20 for Manly. 325 tackles for Manly, 307 for Penrith. 3 ruck infringements for each team. 2 penalties by Manly, 3 by Penrith. 10 errors, played 8. Schuster made 39 tackles. Kenny with 35 tackles. Aloye with 183 metres. And Tuo again cracked the 200 with 205. Supercoach points, Luai with 128. Tuo with 121. Burton with 107 plus 5 more before we got down to Manly's top scorer with Kepi with 64 points.
I was warned that he was the stats guy. Wow, David Middleton, eat your heart out, mate.
Now, yeah, did you do Gumpy's request of the errors?
I did, yes.
Oh,
so missed tackles. We had Jason Saab.
There's more stats.
Jason Saab made 2 tackles and missed 5 of them.
Yep.
Walker missed 4 out of 23. DCE made 23 and missed 4. So there wasn't really too many out of the Penrith side. So.
I mean, you complain about the notifications you get. Can you imagine being Manly's social media manager at the moment?
I think there's a few social media managers that are wishing for another career at the moment after their start.
Manly's media manager is the best bloke in the world, but I don't think he knows what Twitter is, so no issue there.
Oh, good.
I actually did some work with Trev Smith, actually, for Blacktown. So they had a bit of correspondence with him, and they were nice enough, but it was very much a park football setup.
He's a traditional fella.
Yeah, let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Johnny, what are your thoughts on the game? You may as well kick us off.
Oh, look, I won't read too much into the Panthers' effort, but yeah, Manly are in for a rough season. I thought the Panthers' left edge, well documented, it's brutal, but I thought the platform was laid by Leota and Fish. I think Manly have conceded a lot of their points out wide, but Fish and Leota just bashed through the middle of them, just said, look, we're going to open the game up this way on our terms, and they kind of did that. And secondly, Burton, look, he's gone to the Dogs, but I'll still say that he should be the starting 6 for Penrith. I will die with that one. I think...
Where are you going to play Jerome?
He's a fullback.
Okay.
Jerome?
I don't think Dylan Edwards is the fullback that will break a game open for you, and I think Luai can still do that.
But what about
fullback.
a Stephen Crichton moving a fullback or a Charlie Staines? They've got a couple of fullbacks not playing at fullback at the moment.
They do, but I think you've already seen with some roster movements that they're happy to shift on some guys because they've got a lot of talent from their 1 to 7. I think you've got to stack as much talent as you can. I don't think they should be doing any favours for anyone else, especially Matt Burton. I think for his career, I'd rather be sitting there at 6 at Penrith than a 6 at the Dogs, and I think there would have been a few...
I loved Brandy's statement on, like, are you kidding? Like, he's right. What are you talking about? Yeah,
Well, to be honest, the way that Luai and Burton linked up on that left-hand side, I'd even look at putting Burton into 13, moving Yo onto an edge, and they can...
Thought you were about
Burton
to say
join up with
Nathan Cleary.
No, Burton can play off both of them, can play off Cleary and Luai on both sides.
That's the beauty about...
And he's a decent-sized
enough
body.
too, yeah.
The Panthers development boys, they know what they're doing. They've got a lot of those boys. I mean, you look at Tyrone May. If he didn't play every position except prop in 20s and cup, he'd have nailed down a spot somewhere. I mean, these boys are so talented that they can play anywhere on the pitch.
I thought when the injury happened to Edwards, when he went back to fullback, he had nothing wrong. He was fine.
No, he didn't.
If they named him,
actually
why
quite
you go?
good.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And with Ivan's track record, when he's got a good thing, he kind of sticks to it. So I was surprised as well, but there's no real bad answers in that Panther side at the moment. They're looking good.
There's not many at all.
It was pretty obvious about 5 minutes in that the left edge was about to crack. About 5 minutes in, and when it did, obviously it poured.
They're going to break open good teams on that left edge.
Kick out getting hands on the ball is good. It is exciting again. Luai sniffing around. He's just the jack in a box I keep talking about. 2-0, and I said it last week, if I'm picking my favourite players, favourite 17, he's probably the first picked. Brocky, come on.
Yeah, I absolutely love Brian To'o, absolute legend. I just love how they're just repping Mount Druitt at the moment. They're not ashamed of being Westies.
No, they love it.
And it's so good. Like they even arrived at the stadium last week with a big boom box with their gangster, I don't know what music it is, Mountie Bop or whatever it is. And they I'm too white. I got no idea what's going on. But they rock up.
It was Eminem.
Maybe. And they rock up and they've just got all this swag and so much confidence for some young blokes. They don't care. They're just here to play footy. It's awesome to see.
And Gump talked about it last week, but they are in a happy place. Like they're Spencer Linear was one, for example. I think he's the one just re-signed, or was it Leo?
Yeah, he signed
Yeah.
for another 2 years.
But basically turned down big money elsewhere to stay. But they're just people who are happy to stay where they are, put a roof over their family's head, and take a bit less to be part of that for the rest of their life.
And the thing
That's a
is-
great thing as a club.
They haven't just grown up playing footy together. They've grown up since they were kids.
Yeah.
Like they were
Playing in the
toddlers.
street together. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a lot of them
Colo crew.
are family relations. Like these boys have grown up with each other. Their understanding is almost telepathic at this point on a footy level and a personal level. So it's great to see them express that on a field week in, week out, and actually be successful doing it.
Barney?
I was absolute procession for the first 30 minutes. Penrith just did what they wanted for that first 30 minutes of this game. Manly decided to have a crack for about 15 minutes, and that was pretty much the end of that. Cust and Kepi were pretty much the only blokes that made an impact.
What a surprise.
Schuster and Tapau and Jake did their job, but other than that, their halves are trying, but they've got no combination with those centres. I said it last week. Their centres and wingers are probably the worst centre-winger combinations running around in the competition. So once it gets past the halves, there's nothing happening out there.
Shout out to Josh Alloway as well. I thought he was bloody
Yeah,
good.
yeah, he was solid.
Kepi and Cust they gave him a slight chance for a couple minutes, died off in the end, but they were exceptional. Yeah.
I've said this before. Cuss needs to be the 5'8" for Manly. When he plays starting at 5'8", he did a couple of times in 2020. He was Manly's best player.
Well,
I know
even
they
9
brought Foran
was
back.
Schuster
Yeah,
at 6.
he's really good at 9 as well. But I don't know, just for me, he's another level at 6. And Schuster's fitting into the second row, which is good. But honestly, Schuster could even afford to spend another couple of years in reserve grade. He's that young, if he had to. But yeah, for me,
He's better than
Kate Cust is-
fucking 20 out of the 21, bud.
But I'm talking. I'm talking specifically in the halves though, because I honestly think that Cust is probably the best half at the club.
Yeah, he's doing a
best
decent
5'8"
job
at the club.
in the back row. so.
Maybe not quite DCE yet, but I think he's got Foran covered and probably Schuster covered at the moment at least. So I love Kate Cust.
I was just going to see your opinion, guys. Jake Trbojevic, he gives his heart and his soul for that. We saw footage of him barking at his players, just trying to G them up. Do you think he should be the captain? There are a few whispers that he could be the
Yes.
captain
Yes.
midway through this year, and
I
DC is stepping down.
suspect, I'm not necessarily an ego thing. I suspect Desi just doesn't have that conversation with DCE yet, but I would think so. If you're going to have him, definitely.
I reckon
Don't see why not.
do him a favour, send him out on loan to the Storm for a year so he can win a premiership. He deserves
Do
it.
something nice.
Yeah.
Any hope for Manly? Like Turbo's a week away. Ben Turbo named on the bench. What do you take out of for Manly? It's just more of the same.
Well, Morgan Harper's coming in this week, and he's probably their best centre winger that they've got in their fucking 30, and he hasn't played a game yet. So, so give him a go. Walker's going to come back into the centres, which is better than the other options. But no, mate, I can't see much going on.
Better. Schuster obviously has something to offer,
He's 13-6,
Yeah.
back row. Yeah.
but I think it's going to be a long year end of the day, isn't it?
It looks like it.
Even without Tom Trbojevic, at least 1 to 13, they should be doing better than they are. It's not like they're a one-player team, but that's sort of the mentality the media's sort of fed out, and I guess they've sort of bought into that a bit, weirdly enough. They've got the current Australian halfback playing for them. Jake Trbojevic is a rep player. You've got guys who are decent, like Curtis Sheeran, and Josh Alloway come in, who was really good for the Tigers last year. Like it's not like they're a bunch
But
of
there's
reserve
no
graders
X
running
pack.
out there.
There's no X factor in that pack. It's a workman
Yeah.
pack, and then they're relying on reserve grade centre and wingers
I
to
really
try
like
and score points
Paseka,
for
but
them.
he's not. Yeah, he's just he's not quite there. But Paseka could be in another club. Paseka could be a superstar.
Yeah, I think they're 1 to 17 is a bit weird at the moment. I think there's plenty enough talent there. I mean, you compare them to like a Broncos outfit; they're just inexperienced. But that 1 to 17 essentially for Manly has some experienced, accomplished players, and
Yeah.
the fact that they're shopping out to Pau is absurd to me. And they've got Paseka and Alloy coming off the bench, and they're 3 forwards that you should be building around, not shafting to the side at the moment.
I knew they were going to miss Adam Fanor-Blake, but I didn't imagine it was going to be this bad.
Yeah.
They really need that prop that takes the first hit up, and Marty Tapau is not that player. He's a second tackle hit up player, and they need another big guy there.
Yeah. My last comment in the game was what you touched on, where Manly, the time Manly did get some foothold and bit field positions when Fish and Kiko both went off.
Yeah.
And it was, and the minute they came back on, it was just obvious that the game was over again. Like it was,
I think the value of Fish is whenever we're struggling, he straight away goes, Fish, start warming up.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming back on. Like, I love the fact that Eisenhuth and Spenny have come on and started back their name in first grade, but yeah, Fish is invaluable.
Yeah, Leota and Fish were awesome. That try that you mentioned, that was just beautiful try, interplay between the 2 forwards and crash over
Add
next
Yowie
to
to
the
that as well.
post.
Add your
was
13, and that's dynamic.
and Capel's been good. Capel's been he probably that
Doing a
origin
job,
got him that
yeah.
starting position,
Yeah.
and he's built his name off it.
Yep.
Daggy M's, we had
Daggy
to
M's.
vote on our Daggy M's. So I'll throw up as a start 3 for Tuo, 2 for Luai, and then happy to debate 1 kick out, Fish or Cleary. Any thoughts or debating there, Barn?
Well, I had Luai as my 3.
Yeah,
I thought all the
neither
points came
changed.
out of Luai.
Yeah.
Obviously, 2-0 finished and did his job that he's doing every week, but I had Fisher Harris as my 2.
Okay.
I thought that he was actually close to man of the match, but Luai just did that little bit more. And I had 2-0 as my 1 point.
So I've just gone the single man of the match again this week, but mine's probably Lou. I have to agree. But I can see, like, To'o came close, and he got 3 points last week, and it looks like we could have a winger leading the Daggy. And
Notable mention for Burton as well. He was awesome
Yeah.
playing out in the
All right,
centres.
Penrith boys.
Yeah, I think we all agree that the Dally M award is an absolute joke at the moment, and the voting system is.
Therefore, the Daggy M's the most
Yeah.
prominent
I-
award in rugby league.
by hearing
Yes,
this so
forget
far,
the
I'm
NRL.
really-
Forget all
But I
that.
had a look in the paper. Yes, I do still read the newspaper, and I looked at the Penrith game. Nathan Cleary got 3 points for this game.
Yeah, that
and
was-
it's like, sure, he had a great game, and
He
I
got
thought
him around the field, did everything right.
He controlled the game
Yeah.
beautifully in that second half. But how didn't Luai get the 3 points?
Yes,
I thought he was an
that.
absolute
Yeah.
gun. I'm not too sure who I'm going to get my 2 and my 1 to, but just
No, that's fine.
give all 6 to Luai for
Any
me.
going to finish on, Johnny?
I gave it a Kicks purely because it was great to see him hitting the line.
Yeah.
I mean, this was reminiscent of 2 seasons ago where
What were
he
you
was.
thinking last year when they had that big period and we talked about
It was
heaps?
like
They went
12 rounds where
we
they
just
just
didn't touch
didn't
the ball.
didn't give
It
it
was
to him.
decoy runner for like 12 rounds.
And that's literally why I've given him 3 points.
Yeah.
It was great to see him back there. He's not the decoy anymore. He's being that destructive ball runner that we all know he can be, and he just caused havoc and it just opened up from there.
I'm happy to see. We'll go Luai 3.
Yeah.
Fish 2, 201.
Or 202,
I'd give
kick out
202,
1.
I'd give
Kick
Kicks
out 1.
2
Kick out 2, Luai 201.
201.
201.
Yeah.
Okay. So GT.
Poor Fish.
Yeah,
Fish was
it is what it
magnificent,
is.
but yeah.
GT Luai 20. Kick out Luai. Kick out
2-0.
20.